mountain cabins in the Norwegian Highlands. Welcome to Sleep Room. Tonight, we're traveling to the misty peaks of Norway, where ancient mountain cabins stand as silent guardians of the Highlands. Let the gentle rhythm of this story carry you into peaceful rest. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let yourself drift away into the embrace of the mountains. High above the fjords, where the wind whispers secrets through the pines and the clouds settle like soft wool blankets across the valleys, there stands a red wooden cabin. Its timber walls have weathered countless seasons, turning deep crimson in the sunlight and almost black in the rain. The roof, covered in traditional turf, grows wild grasses and tiny mountain flowers that sway gently even in the stillest air. Forget-me-nots, alpine clover, and tiny harebells that ring silently in the breeze. This is the cabin of Ulf, an old mountain keeper who has lived here for more years than most can remember. Some say he's been here 30 years. Others whisper it's been 50. Ulf himself has stopped counting. Time moves differently in the mountains, he would say. The seasons are your clock, and the stars are your calendar. The snow that falls today might not melt until June. The ice that forms in November might still be there in May. Here, patience isn't a virtue. It's simply the way of things. Every evening, as the sun begins its slow descent behind the peaks, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose and deep purple, Ulf performs the same ritual. He fills his kettle with fresh water from the mountain spring that runs just 20 meters from his door. The water is so cold, it makes your teeth ache. So pure you can see every pebble on the streambed, each one polished smooth by centuries of flow. The spring has never run dry, not even in the driest summers, not even when other streams disappeared and the valleys below prayed for rain. He places the kettle on the wood stove, adding 2 more logs to bring the temperature just right. The logs are birch, cut last autumn and dried through the winter. Birch burns clean and hot, filling the cabin with a sweet, almost honey-like scent. Ulf chooses each log carefully, feeling its weight, checking its dryness. Too wet and it will smoke. Too small and it won't last. After 3 decades, his hands know the perfect log by touch alone. While the water heats, he lights the kerosene lamp that hangs by the window. Its golden glow spills out across the rocks and heather, a beacon for any lost traveler who might be making their way through the twilight. The lamp is old, older than Ulf's time here. It was left by the keeper before him, who received it from the keeper before that. The brass is worn smooth in places where countless hands have held it, polished it, carried it through storms to check on lost hikers. In all his years, Ulf has never failed to light that lamp. It's an unspoken promise to the mountain, to the old ways, to the countless hikers who trust in the hospitality of these remote shelters. Even on nights when no one could possibly be out there, when the wind howls at 90 kilometers per hour and the snow falls so thick you can't see 3 meters ahead, Ulf lights the lamp. Because you never know. You never know who might be out there, struggling through the darkness, searching desperately for any sign of shelter. The cabin itself is simple, mountain cabins should be. One main room serves as kitchen, dining area and living space. It's not large, perhaps 6 meters by 5, but it feels spacious, uncluttered. Every item here has a purpose. There is no decoration for decoration's sake, yet the cabin is beautiful in its functionality, in the way that simple, honest things are beautiful. A stone fireplace dominates one wall, its chimney built from rocks carried up from the valley below, each one chosen carefully for how it would fit with its neighbors. Ulf knows the story of that chimney. It was built over 3 summers by a man named Henrik, who carried rocks up the mountain trail, 3 or 4 at a time, until he had enough to build it proper. That was in 1947, just after the war, when people were rebuilding everything, including their spirits. 2 wooden sleeping platforms lined the opposite wall, covered with thick wool blankets in traditional Norwegian patterns, red, white, and blue geometric designs that have remained unchanged for centuries. The patterns have names: rose, 8-petal rose, ram's horn. Each one tells a story in its geometry, a story passed from grandmother to granddaughter, from weaver to weaver, back through time until the meanings are half forgotten, but the beauty remains. Shelves hold supplies, dried meats wrapped in cloth, hard cheeses aged to perfection, jars of lingonberry jam made from berries picked on these very slopes, packages of crisp flatbread that will keep for months, coffee from the valleys below, tea from distant countries, sugar, salt, flour, dried fruits. There are matches in waterproof containers, candles of different sizes, a first aid kit with bandages and medications for altitude sickness and twisted ankles, maps sealed in plastic showing every trail and every cabin for 100 kilometers in any direction, and a logbook where visitors write their names and thoughts. The logbook is perhaps Ulf's most treasured possession. It's actually the 7th book. The others are stored in a wooden chest under his sleeping platform, full now, their pages yellowed but still readable. Sometimes on long winter nights, when the darkness stretches from 3 in the afternoon until 9 in the morning, Ulf reads through the old entries. He traces the evolution of handwriting styles, watches languages change and shift, sees the same family names appear across generations as parents bring their children, who grow up and bring their own children. On this particular autumn evening, as the first snow of the season begins to dust the highest peaks, Ulf settles into his chair by the fire. The chair is his own construction, made from pine wood smoothed by years of use, with a seat woven from strips of leather. It fits his body perfectly, every curve worn to match his form. He's just opened his book, a worn copy of old Norse sagas, the binding repaired many times with careful stitches, when he hears it, a sound that doesn't belong to the mountain's usual symphony of wind and water. Footsteps, hesitant, tired footsteps on the rocky path outside. Ulf's practiced ear can read footsteps the way others read books. These are the steps of someone young, someone tired, someone alone. Not the confident rhythm of an experienced hiker, not the heavy, synchronized tread of a group. These steps speak of uncertainty, of worry, perhaps of fear barely held in check. Then a knock, light, almost apologetic. The knock to be a burden. Ulf rises slowly. His knees aren't what they used to be, especially as the weather turns cold, and opens the door. Standing in the gathering dusk is a girl of about 10 years old. Her jacket is too thin for the dropping temperature. Her boots are caked with mud from the marshy sections of trail, and her backpack looks far too large for her small frame. But it's her eyes that Ulf notices most. Wide with worry, glistening perhaps with tears recently shed, or tears being held back, but trying hard to be brave. "I'm lost," she says in English, her voice barely above a whisper. "My hiking group. They went ahead. I stopped to tie my boot, and when I looked up, they were gone. I called out, but..." She doesn't finish. She doesn't need to. The mountains swallow sound, especially when the wind picks up, especially in those valleys where echoes confuse direction and distance becomes impossible to judge. "Come in," Ulf says, in careful English, his accent thick, but his words clear. He's learned English from decades of visitors, picking up phrases and grammar, practicing pronunciation. "Come in from the cold." The girl enters, and immediately the cabin seems to embrace her. The warmth from the fire reaches out like invisible arms. The golden lamplight softens the worry in her face, and the smell of wood smoke and brewing tea works its ancient magic. That primal comfort that has soothed anxious humans since the first fire was lit in the first cave. "Sit." Ulf gestures to the chair closest to the fire, his own chair, the best seat in the house. "Your name?" "Astrid," she replies, lowering her backpack with a grateful sigh that seems to come from her very bones. The backpack thuds heavily to the floor. Too much weight for someone her age, packed by well-meaning but inexperienced parents, perhaps. Ulf smiles, a genuine smile that crinkles the weathered skin around his eyes into a map of laugh lines. "Astrid, a Norwegian name. Do you know what it means?" She shakes her head, pulling off her gloves to reveal hands pink with cold. "Divine beauty," he says, moving to the stove where the kettle is beginning to sing. He pours hot water over lingonberry leaves in a clay cup, one of a set of 4 that he made himself one winter, learning from a YouTube video watched in the valley on one of his rare trips down for supplies. "Your parents gave you a name that belongs to these mountains. They too possess divine beauty, especially when they sleep beneath the stars." He hands her the tea, and she wraps her cold fingers around the cup, breathing in the sweet, tart steam that rises like a small cloud of comfort. "I have radioed the next cabin," Ulf continues, settling into the other chair, a simpler one he made for visitors. "Your group is there, 2 kilometers east, in the cabin by the Twin Lakes. They are safe, and they know you are safe. Your parents are worried, yes, but they know you are with a keeper. In the morning, when there is good light and the trail is clear, we will reunite you. But for tonight, you are my guest. You are safe here." Astrid nods, feeling the tension drain from her shoulders, like water finally finding its way downhill. She sips the tea. It tastes like summer berries and mountain air and something else, something indefinable. Safety, perhaps, or simply the knowledge that she is no longer alone. "Are you scared to be lost?" Ulf asks gently, his voice low and calm. Astrid considers this, really thinks about it. "A little," she admits. When I realized I was alone, and I called out, and no one answered, and the fog started coming in. Yes, I was scared. But then I remembered what our guide said. If you're lost, look for a red cabin. The cabins are always there. And then I saw your light through the fog, and she pauses, searching for the right words. It was like seeing a lighthouse when you're lost at sea. Good, Ulf nods approvingly. That is as it should be. These cabins, we call them hytte in Norwegian. They have stood in these mountains for generations. Some are over 100 years old, some even older. They are not just buildings, you see. They are promises. Promises, Astrid asks, her curiosity overcoming her lingering anxiety. Yes, promises that no matter how wild the mountain, no matter how fierce the storm, there will always be shelter, there will always be warmth, there will always be a light in the window. This is the way it has been for longer than I've been alive, longer than my grandfather's grandfather was alive. As if to emphasize his words, a gust of wind rattles the shutters, and a few snowflakes begin to swirl past the window, visible in the lamplight like tiny white moths. Inside, the fire crackles peacefully, a counterpoint to the growing wildness outside. Are you hungry? Ulf asks, though he already knows the answer. Lost hikers are always hungry. Fear and cold and worry burn through energy, faster than any physical exertion. Astrid realizes she is. The fear and walking have left her empty, hollowed out. She nods. Ulf moves to his small kitchen area, just a counter along one wall, simple but organized, and begins preparing a simple meal. He slices thick pieces of dark bread, the kind made with rye and barley that stays fresh for weeks. He spreads them with butter churned in the valley below, thick and yellow and rich. Then comes the brown cheese, that strange sweet Norwegian cheese called brunost that tastes like caramel and memories, made from whey boiled down until the milk sugars caramelize. He adds slices of cured meat, spiced with juniper and salt, and a handful of cloudberries from a jar, those rare amber-colored berries that grow only in the coldest marshes and taste like honey and sunshine and the brief Arctic summer all at once. He arranges everything on a wooden plate that he carved himself, sanded smooth, oiled with beeswax until it glows. Tell me about your hike, he says as he works. Where did you start? In the valley, Astrid says, warming her hands on the teacup. 3 days ago, we were supposed to hike to the coast. 7 days total. My dad and I, and his friend and his 2 kids. It was supposed to be an adventure. It is an adventure, Ulf says with a small smile. Perhaps not the adventure you planned, but adventures rarely go according to plan. That's what makes them adventures. He brings the plate to her, along with more tea and a small bowl of warm soup, a simple broth with vegetables and barley that has been simmering on the back of the stove all day. Eat slowly, he advises. Your stomach needs time to remember it's being fed. They eat in comfortable silence, the kind of silence that feels natural in the mountains. It doesn't need to be filled with chatter. The wind continues to rise outside, but it sounds distant, almost like a lullaby, like the white noise that promises safety because you are inside. and warm while it is outside and cold. Astrid eats everything, surprised by her own hunger, and when she's finished, she feels more like herself than she has since she realized she was lost. "Have you always lived here?" she asks, settling back in the chair, the warmth and food making her drowsy in a pleasant way. "Not always," Ulf replies, returning to his own chair. "Once I lived in the city, Oslo. I worked in an office with fluorescent lights and no windows. I wore a suit every day, grey or blue, always with a tie. I took the same subway every morning. I ate lunch at the same time every day. I forgot what the stars looked like. I forgot what silence sounded like. What made you leave?" Ulf is quiet for a moment, gazing into the fire, watching the flames dance and shift. "I got lost," he finally says. "Not in the mountains, but in life. I forgot who I was. I became just a function. Wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, repeat. I was 38 years old, and I realized I couldn't remember the last time I felt truly alive. One Friday evening, instead of taking the subway home, I kept walking. I walked to the train station, bought a ticket north, and just went. I came to these mountains for what I thought would be a week, maybe 2. That was 32 years ago. Don't you miss it? The city, other people. I see people," Ulf chuckles. "In summer, sometimes a dozen hikers come through in a single day. I hear many languages, Norwegian, yes, but also English, German, French, Dutch, Japanese, Korean. I hear many stories. Young couples in love, old friends reuniting, families teaching their children to walk in wild places, people recovering from illness or grief or heartbreak, people celebrating, people searching, people simply being. In winter, it's quieter, yes. Sometimes I go a week without seeing another soul. But quiet is not the same as lonely." He leans forward, adding another log to the fire, adjusting it until it catches properly. "The mountain keeps me company. The foxes that come by at dusk, hoping for scraps. The ptarmigans that change from brown to white as winter comes. The ravens that fly in pairs and seem to laugh at their own jokes. The reindeer that pass through in their migrations, hundreds of them, their hooves clicking like a river of sound. The changing light. Oh, the light here. It's never the same twice. The seasons turning like great wheels. These are companions enough." He rises and moves to the window. "Come, look at this." Astrid joins him, and together they gaze out at the transformed landscape. In just the last hour, a thin layer of snow has begun to cover everything. The rocks look softer, rounder, like loaves of bread dusted with flour. The heather bends under tiny white burdens. The path is already disappearing, becoming part of the general whiteness. And above, through breaks in the clouds, stars are beginning to emerge. Not the handful you might see in a city, not even the dozens you might see from a dark suburb, but thousands upon thousands. So many they look like spilled salt across black velvet. So many you can see why ancient peoples thought they could read fate in their patterns. "Beautiful," Astrid whispers, her breath fogging the window. "Divine beauty," Ulf agrees. "Like your name. Do you see that bright star there? The one that seems to flicker with a blue light? That's Vega. And Sivstjerne in Norwegian, the Seven Sisters, and that band of light across the sky, like a river of milk. That's our galaxy, the Milky Way. From the city, you can barely see it. But here, it's so bright. You can read by it on a moonless night. They stand there for several minutes, watching the snow fall in the lamplight, watching the stars wheel slowly overhead, watching the mountains fade into darkness, except where snow catches the starlight. The fire pops softly behind them. The cabin creaks gently, settling into the cold like an old person settling into a favorite chair. Tell me about the other cabins, Astrid says, returning to her chair, pulling one of the wool blankets over her lap. Are they all like this one? Each one is different, Ulf says, pleased by her curiosity. Always pleased when young people show interest in the old ways. Some are older than this, made from hand-hewn logs chinked with moss and clay. The moss they used is still there, still keeping out the wind after 100 years. Some are newer, built with modern tools, but in the old style, because the old style works. There are hundreds of them scattered across these highlands, each one roughly a day's walk from the next, creating a network of safety across the wilderness. Who built them? Different people across different times for different reasons. Some were built by farmers who brought their animals, sheep and goats, to high pastures in summer. They would live in these cabins for 3 months, making cheese from the milk, living the old way. Some were built by hunters who tracked reindeer and ptarmigan. Some were built by the Norwegian Trekking Association, specifically to help hikers cross these wild places safely. But all were built with the same understanding, that the mountain can be harsh, and we must take care of each other. No one who built these cabins thought they were just building for themselves. They were building for strangers they would never meet, for people not yet born. He pours more tea for them both, adding a small spoonful of honey too. Each cup, honey from valley bees that have fed on mountain flowers, dark and rich and complex. There's one cabin I know, he continues, settling into his storytelling rhythm. Up near Hardangervidda Plateau, that's painted the brightest red you've ever seen. The man who maintains it repaints it every 5 years, the exact same shade of red, because he says his grandmother told him that red cabins are easier to see in storms. You can spot it from 5 kilometers away on a clear day, like a tiny ruby set in green velvet. And there's another, tucked in a valley so remote you'd never find it without a map, built entirely of stones stacked without mortar. It's been standing for 200 years. The walls are this thick. He holds his hands apart, showing at least half a meter. And inside, it stays warm with just a small fire because the stones hold heat, like a battery holds electricity. The door is so low you have to duck to enter, because when it was built, people were shorter, and also because a low door keeps the warmth in. There's a cabin near Genda Lake. Have you heard of Genda? It's famous for its water, the bluest water you've ever seen, like liquid turquoise. The cabin there is built right on the shore, and in the morning, when the sun rises and hits the water, the light reflects up and makes the ceiling inside glow blue. It's like being inside a sapphire. Astrid listens, enchanted, imagining these places, these distant cabins, each with its own character, its own story. And then there are the emergency shelters, Ulf continues. Smaller than these, just boxes really, painted bright orange so they can be spotted from helicopters. They have no keeper, just supplies, blankets, food, a radio. They're placed in the most exposed places, where weather can turn deadly in minutes. I've heard stories of people who owe their lives to those orange boxes. Have you ever saved anyone? Astrid asks quietly. Ulf considers this. Saved is a strong word. But have I helped people who might otherwise have died? Yes. Not often, but yes. There was a man, maybe 15 years ago, who arrived here in a blizzard. He had gotten separated from his group, and he had early frostbite on 3 fingers. I warmed them slowly, too fast, and you do more damage, and kept him here for 3 days until the storm passed. His fingers turned black, but they recovered. He still has them. There was a woman who fell and broke her ankle 2 kilometers from here. Her husband half carried her here, both of them exhausted. I set the ankle. I've learned some medical things over the years, and radioed for a helicopter. They were both crying when they left, but they send me a Christmas card every year. And then there are the smaller rescues, if you can call them that. The hypothermia that would have gotten worse without warm shelter. The altitude sickness that needed rest and descent. The simple exhaustion that becomes dangerous in the mountains. The fear that needs calm words and hot tea. He smiles. Mostly, I just offer what the cabin offers. Warmth, safety, food, rest. The mountain does the rest. People are stronger than they think. They just need a place to remember that strength. Astrid yawns, unable to help herself. The warmth, the food, the gentle rhythm of Ulf's voice, the softness of the blanket. It's all catching up with her. The adrenaline of being lost finally fading, leaving behind a deep, peaceful tiredness. You're tired, Ulf observes kindly. Let me prepare a bed for you. He moves to one of the sleeping platforms and unfolds several thick wool blankets. He shakes each one out first, an automatic gesture, checking for any damp or creatures that might have wandered in, though he knows there are none. He layers them carefully, a sheet first, then a lighter blanket, then 2 heavy ones, creating a nest of warmth. He adds a pillow stuffed with down from Arctic birds, soft as clouds, covered in white linen that smells faintly of lavender from the sachets he keeps in his storage chest. In the mountains, Ulf says as he works, his movements practiced and sure, we have a saying, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. But I would add to that, there's no such thing as a difficult journey if you know there's a warm cabin waiting at the end. The knowing makes all the difference. You can endure cold if you know warmth is coming. You can walk through rain if you know a fire waits. It's the hope, you see. That's what these cabins really provide. Hope. Astrid removes her boots. Her feet ache with gratitude to be free, and climbs onto the platform. The wool blankets feel slightly rough at first, honest, real. Nothing like the synthetic smoothness of modern sleeping bags. But as her body warmth begins to fill the layers, they become soft, yielding, perfect. The blankets smell like wool and fresh air and something else, something indefinable. Perhaps it's the scent of the mountains themselves, of clean wind and ancient stone, and the crystalline purity of places far from the complications of the world below. Comfortable? Ulf asks, though he can see that she is. Very, Astrid murmurs, her eyes already half closed, her body sinking into the platform like she's sinking into the mountain itself, becoming part of it, safe and held. Sleep well then. Your parents will see you tomorrow. All is well. Ulf returns to his chair, picking up his book, but he doesn't really read. He lets his eyes rest on the words, while his ears monitor the cabin and the mountain beyond. He hears the wind picking up, the snow hissing against the windows, the fire settling in its bed of embers. He hears Astrid's breathing deepen and slow, entering into sleep's first gentle embrace. Outside, the snow continues to fall, more heavily now. By morning, there will be perhaps 10 centimeters, enough to make the landscape new, but not enough to make travel dangerous. The wind has dropped to a gentle whisper, as if even the mountain has decided it's time for rest. Ulf, Astrid says, drowsily, her voice thick with approaching sleep. Yeah, thank you for the light in the window. The old keeper smiles, though she can't see it. It's always there, he says softly. Every night, for anyone who needs it. That's the promise. Astrid tries to respond, but sleep takes the words before they can form. She's drifting now, floating on that pleasant edge between waking and sleep, where thoughts become dreams and worries dissolve like snowflakes on warm ground. She dreams of mountains and stars, of red cabins glowing like embers across a dark landscape, of paths that lead always to safety, always to warmth, always home. Ulf watches the fire, adding another log, though it doesn't really need one. The night is long, and he wants the warmth to last until morning. He thinks about all the people who have passed through this cabin over the years. How many? Hundreds? Perhaps thousands? Each one brought their stories here, left something of themselves in the logbook, in the air, in the very walls, and each one took something away. Perhaps a memory, perhaps a moment of peace, perhaps just the knowledge that in a complicated world, there are still places like this. Simple places, true places, places where the ancient compact still holds. You are welcome here. You are safe here. You belong here. The young couple on their honeymoon, hiking the Highlands in summer, their love still new and untested. They stayed one night and left a drawing in the logbook. 2 stick figures, holding hands, a heart, a mountain. The old professor studying alpine plants, who spent 3 days here during a research trip and taught Ulf the Latin names of flowers they both knew by sight. Dryas octopetala, Saxifraga oppositifolia. Names like spells, like prayers. The group of friends celebrating a birthday at 1,500 meters, carrying a small cake in their pack, sharing it with Ulf, singing in 4-part harmony while the mountain listened. The solo hiker recovering from heartbreak, who said nothing for 2 days, just sat by the fire and stared into the flames, and then on the 3rd morning said thank you and smiled for the first time. The family teaching their children to love the mountains, the youngest barely 5 years old, her eyes wide with wonder at everything. The fire, the stars, the way snow melts on your tongue, the sound of wind in the stones. Each one a thread in a great tapestry that stretches across time. each one part of the mountain's story, and the mountain part of theirs. The snow is accumulating now, a few centimeters already, transforming the landscape into something from a fairy tale. Tomorrow, it might melt when the sun comes out, or it might stay, the first layer of winter's eventual depth. Either way, the cabin will stand here, weathering what comes, as it has weathered everything that has come before. Ulf opens the logbook, his reading glasses perched on his nose, and runs his finger down the recent entries. His flashlight, he uses it now instead of moving the lamp so as not to disturb Astrid, creates a small circle of light on the page. Here's someone from Germany, writing in careful English. Found this place in fog. Felt like coming home to a home I never knew I had. And here's a Norwegian family. Our children's first mountain hut. They'll remember this forever. We'll be back. A solo hiker from Japan. Silence here is different than silence in the city. This silence has a voice. A couple from Scotland. Stayed here on our 50th wedding anniversary. Started our marriage in mountains, still in love. Page after page of gratitude, wonder, simple observations about the weather or the wildlife or the extraordinary peace of being so far from everything else. Simple words that add up to something profound, a record of human connection to this place, to each other, to something larger than themselves. Ulf picks up his pen, a simple ballpoint, nothing fancy, because fancy pens freeze in winter, and writes, October 23rd. First snow of the season, light accumulation. Young hiker named Astrid, age approximately 10, separated from group. Making good progress when found, but tired and cold. Condition good. Reuniting with family tomorrow morning. She asked good questions about the cabins and the mountain. She understood about the light in the window, temperature, dropping to -2 degrees Celsius overnight. 3 new logs on fire at 2200 hours. Supplies adequate. All is well. The mountain is quiet tonight. Simple words, but they join thousands of others. A chronicle of mountain life stretching back decades. Back to keepers whose names Ulf never knew. Who sat in this same chair. Who lit this same lamp. Who made this same promise to strangers. The fire has burned down to embers now, glowing red and orange, and sometimes blue, where the heat is most intense, pulsing gently like a sleeping heart. Ulf banks it for the night, pushing the embers together, adding one large log that will burn slowly through the dark hours, ensuring it will stay alive until morning, when he'll build it up again for breakfast. He performs his final check of the cabin, a ritual he's done 10,000 times but never skips. Water bucket full, first aid kit accessible, radio charged, extra blankets within reach, door bolted but not locked, never locked, because mountain cabins are never locked. Someone might need shelter when no keeper is present. Shutters secured but not sealed, because the cabin needs to breathe. He checks on Astrid. She's deeply asleep now, her face peaceful, one hand tucked under her cheek, her breathing slow and regular. She's turned slightly, curling into herself the way children do, seeking comfort even in sleep. He adjusts her blanket slightly, making sure she's fully covered, tucking the edges around her shoulders the way his grandmother used to tuck him in long ago in a different life, before lying down. he performs one last ritual. He steps outside into the cold, into the falling snow, pulling on his heavy jacket, but leaving his head bare, because he likes to feel the snow on his face, on his hair, that gentle touch that reminds him he's alive. He's here. He's real. The silence is profound, the kind of silence that only exists far from civilization, far from engines and electronics and the constant hum of human activity. It's not absolute silence. The wind makes a soft whisper through the rocks. The snow makes the tiniest sound as it lands and accumulates. His own breath creates small clouds in the cold air. But it's silence of the deep kind, the kind that has weight and presence, the kind that feels like it has existed since before humans walked upright, since before language gave names to things. He can hear individual snowflakes landing on his jacket, a sound so small it seems impossible. But in this silence, everything is audible. He can hear his own heartbeat, steady and strong, despite his 70 years. He can hear the cabin settling behind him, wood contracting in the cold. He can hear, faint and far away, a fox calling, its voice thin and wild and lonely and somehow right. He looks up at the cabin, at the warm light glowing in the window, and feels satisfaction, deep, uncomplicated satisfaction, of the kind that comes from doing simple work well, from keeping promises, from being exactly where you should be, doing exactly what you should be doing. Another day as a keeper, another traveler safe, another promise kept, another night when the light burned in the window, a beacon in the darkness, hope made visible. The snow touches his face with cold, gentle fingers. The wind carries the scent of pine and ice and distance. Somewhere far below, the valleys sleep under their blankets of forest and darkness. Somewhere above, the peaks stand eternal, indifferent, magnificent. And here, at this precise elevation, in this precise moment, Ulf stands between earth and sky, between civilization and wilderness, between then and now, and feels completely at peace. The mountains stand all around, ancient and patient, holding their secrets and stories, cradling this small cabin and its sleeping occupants in their vast, protective presence. They have stood here for millions of years, shaped by ice and time and the slow work of weather. They will stand for millions more. The cabin, by comparison, is ephemeral, just a brief thought in the mountain's long dream. But for this moment, this night, this winter that is beginning, the cabin matters. It matters absolutely. Ulf stands in the snow for several more minutes, not thinking about anything in particular, just being present, just breathing the cold air deep into his lungs, feeling alive in that sharp, clear way that only cold and altitude can provide. Then, when his feet begin to feel the bite of the cold through his boots, he returns inside, carefully closing the door against the night. He removes his heavy jacket, hangs it on its peg by the door where it will dry by morning. He removes his sweater, folding it carefully and placing it on the shelf. He lies down on his sleeping platform and pulls his own blankets up, the same wool blankets he's used for years, washed in the summer stream, dried in the mountain sun, soft now with use. The cabin settles around him with familiar creaks and sighs. the sounds of wood adjusting to temperature changes, the sounds of home. The embers in the fireplace cast dancing shadows on the ceiling, creating patterns that shift and flow like living things. He watches them for a while, letting his mind wander or go still. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes, up here, where thought and feeling blur together. He thinks about tomorrow. He'll wake early, as he always does, at the first grey light of dawn. He'll build up the fire, coaxing flames from the embers that survived the night. He'll make coffee, strong, dark coffee that fills the cabin with its rich aroma. He'll prepare porridge with dried fruits and honey, bread with butter and cheese. When Astrid wakes, there will be warmth and food waiting. When there's enough light to see the trail clearly, perhaps around 8 o'clock, he'll radio the next cabin. Someone from Astrid's group will come, probably her father, walking quickly, relief and worry still fighting in his chest. There will be tears, certainly, hugs that last a long time, apologies and gratitude mixing together. And Ulf will wave away the thanks, as he always does, saying simply, "This is what the cabin is for." Astrid will continue her journey, but she'll carry this night with her. Years from now, when she's older, she'll tell this story about the time she got lost in the Norwegian mountains, about the red cabin that appeared through the fog, about the old keeper who lit a lamp every night for strangers he might never meet. And perhaps, if the mountain calls to her the way it called to Ulf, she'll return. Perhaps one day she'll be a keeper too, lighting a lamp, keeping a promise, offering shelter to the lost. The snow falls steadily now, covering the rocks and heather, the path and the stream, covering everything in soft silence. The world beyond. The cabin disappears into white and darkness, but inside 2 souls rest safely, protected, held by walls of wood and stone and something else, something older, something that has no name but exists nonetheless. The agreement between humans and mountains. The promise that we will take care of each other. The cabin stands firm, its red walls barely visible in the darkness. Weathered, but strong, tested by decades of storms and standing still. The window glows on, a golden promise, a beacon, a welcome that says, "You are not alone, you are not forgotten, you matter, you are safe." Inside, the fire breathes quietly, its embers pulsing like a gentle heartbeat. The wind whispers old songs against the walls. The stars wheel overhead in their eternal dance, indifferent to human struggles, yet somehow comforting in their constancy. The snow continues its quiet work, transforming the highland into a realm of white and shadow and peace. And somewhere out there in the Highlands, scattered across the wild landscape like rubies on velvet, dozens of other cabins stand watch. Some are dark tonight, waiting for their next visitors. Some glow with light, where other keepers tend other fires, welcome other travelers. Together, they form a constellation on the ground, mirroring the stars above, a network of safety, a web of light, a promise kept across generations. This is the way of the mountain. This is the compact honored, night after night, year after year, generation after generation. Shelter for the wanderer, light for the lost, warmth for the weary, hope for the hopeless, home for those who are far from home. As long as there are mountains, there will be cabins, As long as there are cabins, there will be keepers. And as long as there are keepers, no one who seeks shelter will ever be truly lost. The light will burn, the door will open, the fire will warm, the mountain will protect. Pulse breathing slows, deepens, joining with Astrid's in a quiet rhythm. Two people sleeping safely while the mountain keeps its vigil. Two people dreaming peaceful dreams of stars and stone and the enduring kindness of strangers. The night deepens. The snow continues its quiet work, adding layer upon layer, building winter one flake at a time. The cabin creaks gently, settling deeper into itself, into the earth, into the eternal patience of stone. The fire glows on, faithful, steady, asking nothing, giving everything. And the lamp in the window burns bright, a small sun in the darkness, a fixed point in the chaos, a promise written in light that says, here is safety, here is warmth, here is shelter, here is hope, here you are welcome, here you belong, here you are home. Sleep now, dear traveler. You too are safe. You too have found your cabin in the mountains. Let the night embrace you. Let the darkness be gentle. Let the snow fall softly in your dreams. Tomorrow is far away, and here, in this moment, all is warm and well and peaceful. The mountain watches over you. The stars guide your dreams. The fire keeps you safe. Sleep deeply. Sleep soundly. Sleep in the knowledge that somewhere, in mountains high and wild, a light burns in a window, waiting, always waiting, always welcoming, always there, until morning light returns, until your next journey begins. Rest here. Rest well. You are exactly where you need to be. Good night from Sleep Room. May your dreams be peaceful, and may you always find shelter when you need it most.